During my first day in Armenia, I had the chance to visit the place where the Armenian Apostolic Church was born, the Kor Virap Monastery. In addition, I was able to walk around the nearby city of Artashat, which was the capital of the Kingdom of Armenia for 7 centuries, and end the day at a winery tasting typical local products. Currently located just a few kilometers from the border with Turkey, this city was the most important from the 2nd century BC until the 5th century, when the Armenian Empire fell. Historians of that time described it as a large city, full of commerce and culture, known as the Carthage of Armenia. Destroyed several times, there are hardly any remains from that era, although there are several buildings from Soviet times.
And 2 of them in the Karabakh War. He was a fighter from our city who fell in the first Karabakh War. The year in Karabakh.
A memorial to a person from the town who died in the first Nagorno-Karabakh War, here, next to the House of Culture. Built in Soviet times, and now they are renovating the roof, an administrative building of what was once the capital of Armenia in ancient times. Look, made with Armenian stone, orange, typical of this region. You will see it in all the cities and places here, very characteristic of Armenia from here. Where is this stone from? Where was it brought from?
From the mountains of Armenia. They are solid stone blocks inside. Do you see the thickness of the stone?
Quality.
Of course, it's not a brick or a veneer.
And here is another hero who died in the conflict of the 1990s in the first Nagorno-Karabakh War. This theater behind me is more than 2,000 years old, even if you wouldn't think so. Of course, it was renovated during Soviet times, but when Artashat was the capital of the Kingdom of Armenia, there was a theater here and performances were held. Nothing remains of the theater that stood here 2,000 years ago. We know of its existence from the historical writings that have come down to us. And it is said, the story goes, the legend says, that the head of a Roman general was brought here in the year 53 before Christ, to show it to the entire population as a symbol of victory in the defense against the Roman Empire. Look at how far the Soviet heritage of Armenia goes. We come across buildings like this one, now abandoned. Huge buildings that used to house what Russians call master service centers. Here you could fix your TV, get your shoes repaired, mend your clothes, get a haircut. Nowadays it looks abandoned, and from what the locals have told me, it's waiting to be turned into a temple, a hotel. I'm starting to realize during this walk through the city of Artashat, we're coming across quite a few contrasts. Over there we have a completely abandoned building, which looks like it used to be apartments, and right next to it, a newly built shopping center. Also, right across from us, we have the City Hall building, once again reminiscent of the Soviet style. And here is what used to be the House of Culture, looking a little abandoned. When you ask people why you see these kinds of contrasts, most of them answer that it's simply because there is no money for renovation, for reconstruction. They're waiting for that money to arrive so they can make it look nice, and investments are made in a very selective way. Well, what better way to end the day than to show you how a real Armenian winery works? I don't know if you know this, but Armenia is well known for its natural products, including apricots and grapes. And from grapes, they make brandy and a delicious wine that we tried earlier at lunch. And here we are. We don't get the chance to visit an authentic Armenian winery every day, especially for someone like me, a Spaniard who comes from a country with a winemaking tradition. This is a luxury. Let's see what they show us. You do everything here, right? Brandy, wine?
Yes, I'll show you now. Let's see the preserves first. That's where we keep the brandy.
Is that the brandy?
Yes.
How many liters are there here?
A lot, although there's more inside.
Here's the finished product.
I see. Is this tomato soup here?
No, they're peeled tomatoes.
These are typical products you can find in the Caucasus. Preserves. They tell me they have more than 60 types of preserves here. Tomatoes, vegetables.
Here, tomatoes in vinegar with peppers, cauliflower.
This is Ajika.
Ajika?
Have you ever had pickled watermelon or tried something like it?
No, not this. Look, watermelon in brine in vinegar. We've never seen this before. Well, I have because I've been to Russia, and I've seen it in the south of Russia. But here, look. What do you eat this with? With vodka, cognac?
Well, it's better with vodka.
With vodka, does that sound familiar to you, yes? Peach juice, here you have it. Ikra, which is ground vegetables, so you can see how rich this country is in vegetables. All of this is national production, right?
Of course, all from here.
Everything is from here.
Here, pickled cucumbers. And tomatoes with peppers.
Wow!
Compote, do you know this fruit?
It doesn't ring a bell. Which one is it?
Kizil.
Kizil, here we have the apricots, like I was telling you, the national fruit. He says it's your national product. And in Nagorno-Karabakh too, right? They grow a lot there as well.
Across Armenia, these are from Artashat.
And here in Armenia?
And you do it exactly in Artashat.
Everything is from here, from Artashat. This is apple juice. All of this goes to Russia, huh? And anywhere else?
Russia and Kazakhstan.
It's incredible how much this tiny country has to offer. Look at all the variety they're able to produce.
These are grape leaves.
Do you eat them too? Are they stuffed with meat?
These are meatless. At home you cook and fill them with meat. Do you take it and check it?
Yes. It's true that it's something you can find throughout all these former Soviet countries, this whole tradition of preserved foods.
Tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers with grilled meat are really good.
Yeah.
This is the product that sells the most in Russia.
Really? Yes.
There used to be a huge factory here back in the USSR days, after its collapse.
Yes.
A massive factory once stood here during the USSR era after its collapse. In the USSR, there wasn't such a wide variety of products.
Uh-huh.
Now, to develop markets, you have to offer variety.
Here they manage things the way they did in Spain 20 or 30 years ago, maybe even longer. In Spain, they've already moved to stainless steel and other materials. You have the tanks where the cognac is distilled and stored. And here we have other wine tanks. These ones are more modern. Look, you can see the wine now from the last harvest. Here it is. There you can see the wine, these ones here, and here is the cognac. They filled them 5 days ago. It's like being transported, I don't know, to an old Soviet factory, only it's 2022. Look at this machinery. Well, as I said, we finish with this magnificent tasting of cognac and wine. That's all from me. See you in the next video. See you later. How do you say that in Armenian?
Goodbye.
Utsub? Hey, Utsub. Stavros. My father is also Stavros. Nada se gana sin sacrificios. Y la libertad sin sangre. Ah, yes. And Turkish, no?
Premium altında. Faşizmdeki